Francis Mugabuchenga, and I'm working on a project called Government and You, under a goal called Contribute to the Society. So, as an active citizen, there are different things you have to know about your government. And as I was working on this project, I conducted a street interview whereby I had to ask different questions related to the government of US to different citizens around. I had 4 questions to ask my interviewees, which the first one was about what are the 3 branches of the government, and the second one was what does each branch do, and apart from Democrats and Republican Party, what are the other parties of our government, and the last one was what are the basic processes by which a bill becomes a law. So let us take a short time looking at a video of the interviewees about how they responded to these questions in the interviews. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Francis Mugabuchenga, and I'm a student in Bachelor's of Art program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire. I am conducting this interview as part of my academic work. With consent, I will record your interview and use it for different purposes, which is also street interview as I've mentioned. And I'm working on this project called Contribute to the Society, which is why I request your consent about this in order to record this interview for my academic purposes. And I would like to know if you have any question. Don't have any question. So I would like to have your consent for this. So you read this and this consent to agree with me.
I, Arnoni Waruta, give my consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the student academic work.
Thank you. So,
I, James, give my consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the student's work.
okay, thank you. So as you read in the consent, it's only about academic purposes. I have 4 questions to ask you about this government of USA, and the first question is about what are the 3 branches of our government?
Okay, I think that the 3 branches is the legislative branch, the executive branch, and this one, I don't know, with those with judges and judiciary. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So you also think they are the same?
Yeah.
So it's legislature, executive, and
Judiciary.
okay. So what does each branch do? Let me start with you.
I think the legislature makes laws, and then judiciary is supposed to interpret laws. Then the other one is executive. Then the executive passes.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Something to add is like the legislative branch is propose laws, like there is like a law, and for example, they have to, let's take an example, they have to ban alcohol, the use of alcohol in the country. Then the executive, it creates like something like a project. They submit it to the legislative, like Congress or Senate, Congress, and then they have to, because the legislative represent all the people, and they have to give their opinion in the name, in the behalf of the people. And when the law is adopted, it passes and it's implemented by the executive, but also the judiciary branch has to ensure that it's abided by. Yeah, so that's what.
Thank you. So in US we have different governments. We have different parties, which is Democrat, Republic, and we have also the other parties. Can you try and name the third party we have in US?
The Green Party.
Green Party.
I think the Conservative Party.
Conservative. Okay. So what is the basic process by which a bill is passed to become a law?
A bill. Okay, what is a bill? Is it a project of a law? I don't know. But if a bill is what I think it is, a bill, the executive, the government, they draft something like about a project. So they rate what they think could go for the people, for the country, and then that's, I think, this is the bill, and then the bill is submitted to the Congress, like the Legislative Assembly. So the Congress have to have it in during the sessions. They study about the bill. They see what is its strength, its weaknesses, and if they found that it's not working for the people, they return it back to the executive, or if they think it's okay, then they agree on it. And I think this how it becomes sort of.
Thank you. I think a bill passed, it passes, it is brought in the parliament, then it is debated, and they carry out voting. So when the majority vote for it, then it is passed as a law. I mean, it is, after majority vote it is then taken to the president to sign on it. So when the president agrees and signs on it, it is then passed as a law.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome.
Okay. From the videos, there are some mistakes that were made by the interviewees, so I want to make some corrections about them. And the first one, let us look at the three branches of the government. As you know, in US we have three branches of the government, which is the legislative branch, which is composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and is headed by the Congress. The second branch is the executive, made of the president and the cabinet, and the president is the head of the party or of the branch. And the third one is the judicial, which is composed of the Supreme Court. These branches have different roles to the government or to the process that take place in the government. The legislative is in charge of creating or making laws. So the laws that govern the country are created by the legislative branch, and the executive, as part of the branches, it is there to enforce and approve the laws. So when laws are made by the legislative branch, they are taken to the executive, whereby the president and the cabinet have to approve that the laws should be passed out. And the judicial branch has to implement and interpret the laws, whereby it has also to protect the laws around the country. So they make sure that the laws are put in place and are well implied to. So the second question was about what are apart from Democrats and the Republican Party, what is the third party of the government? So the third party in US is the minor party, which is composed of different small parties. We have the Green Party, supported by 37 states. We also have the Libertarian Party, composed of 22 states, and the Constitutional Party, composed of 13 states. So the third party or the minor parties in the United States influence a lot in the politics of US, whereby there are some issues that are raised by the small parties, and eventually they have to be implemented or to be addressed by the stronger parties, which is the Republican and the Democrats. Also, their influence in election matters a lot, because the third party, sometimes they take some votes in the elections, and you find one party may lose because some votes were taken by the third party. So looking at how these parties evolved, the Democrat and the Republican, we can say they started as one party, which was called Democratic Republican Party, which was founded by two people, which we have James and the colleague. So these parties evolved, and they got a time where they split up, and the Democrat Party was formed in 1790s by anti-federalists in US, whereby they had opposed the fiscal policy. And there was also the evolution of the Republican Party in 1854 by the anti-slavery activists. So the party that had started as Democrat Republic Party splitted in two parts, and they formed Democrat Party and Republican Party. So the last question was about how, or the process by which a bill becomes a law. A bill becomes a law in a different process, and it starts with the citizens, where they propose a certain idea, and they call for a sponsor. That's one congregation or one person from the assembly takes the idea into the congress, into the House of the Representative, and it is introduced by them. They form a committee to discuss about that and find more information from the supporters of the bill and the opponents of the bill, whereby they have to discuss about different matters. Later, when the information is collected, there is a debate formed, where the committees, the assembly or the House of Representatives goes into a debate, and they have a debate on that bill or on that idea that was suggested by the citizens, and they have to vote and decide whether to include it as a bill in the Congress or to disapprove it before reaching the executive, which is the president. And when it is approved through the debate, because it is approved by when it has more passes, when it is voted by the majority, so it is taken to the executive part, which is headed by the president, and the president decides to prove it or disapprove it. So the votes, they get 2 by 3. So when it is 2 by 3, it is the bill is allowed to be passed as a law, and when it is below 2, it is not allowed to be passed by the law. So that's how a bill becomes a law, and after the president's approval, it is published outside to the public, and the executive has to maintain and apply the law around the country. So thank you. That's much I can say about how a bill becomes a law and the government of US.